this. So here we go. It's our very first ALC Mastermind. I'm really thankful for you guys joining with us today. We don't really have a set topic, although I want to keep talking about listings because I need them. I need to get more of them. I want to brainstorm with you on some ways that we can do that. And, you know, there's enough business to go around for sure. So even if we work in the same general area, you know, when we talked last week and team meeting, our marketing and our business is going to become more like us and our personality. So someone can do it one way and do it well, and the other person can do it another way and do it well. And we just don't need to be in competition with each other. Let's look out for each other and brainstorm. And that's what this mastermind is about today, is listings and trying to get in the door so that you can do the listing presentation. So I'll just begin a little bit, and we want to make this fully able to question and answer throughout the whole time. I've got dedicated an hour here. We're planning on every Thursday at 10 o'clock to come in. I may have a different topic. It could be my choosing. It could be someone else's choosing. The Market Center may direct what I do, or ALC. So, you know, just come and let's figure out what we're doing right now, right here, how to analyze the market, and let's all be successful. So, we've been talking all last month about how to get listings, and there are lots of really great ways out there. You know, I shared on our intranet the Paperless Agent. If you haven't heard of them, I would go to them. They send me emails all the time, and occasionally I will listen in to them. They want you to buy into a program at the very end, but they give such great content at the beginning. So it's free and it's a webinar. And then as you agree to get some of these emails, you'll see a lot of training start coming through your emails, and it could be fodder, you know, that you just want to put away, but some of it's really interesting to me. So example, I've got one that came in this morning called Brilliant New FSBO Strategy to Take 2 to 3 listings every week. So I'm happy to send that to you. If you want it, just put it in chat or text me and I will send it to you as soon as we're finished here. But that might be something that I watch. Now, I always wanted to create a good FSBO packet. You've seen us role play a little bit. If you've been in Bold, there was a girl who her whole marketing is on FSBOs, and she does something like 50 a year. I can't remember. She's brand new, and she just sits there and she calls, and she's called enough that she's got that script down. So that's pretty incredible. So I don't want to just focus on FSBOs, but let's just not forget that that is a way to grab some new listings sometimes. And like anything, it takes time. It takes trial and error, and I don't win everything that I go after. So right now, you know, I've got a couple of homes laying in waiting, whether it's they've tried the MLS once before and they're just not super excited about getting all these agents coming in and not serious. I've got people getting their homes ready, and I'm trying to encourage them and stay in contact with them to get on the market now, because this is what we know. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, although I really think things might stay strong. But, you know, we don't know about lumber prices, or some of these people in the new home communities, they're being capped on how many homes that they can sell because the production builders can't keep up. So might resales be more attractive in the future if we have less new builds? I don't know. I just went right over here on the other side of our Market Center. Park Drive now comes in from 183 from Bell Road and wraps around right by Target. Super quick way to jump to Target, just so you know. And I ran in that cute little community with the white picket fences, and noticed that Braun Homes is taking up a whole section, making a whole new neighborhood back there. So some people have it and some people don't. You know, Braun in our community and Lago Vista is going like crazy. So, but it may mean that resales might have a better chance at selling faster just because we have a lack of inventory on the new homes. So let's just focus on the resale homes, and what are some good ways to get into those homes or get to know those people. The quickest way would be, you know, like a for sale by owner or calling withdrawns or expireds. That's not really what I do. In fact, I've had clients come back to me after we withdraw or expire, and they're like, wait a minute, did you sell my information? All these agents are calling me. So if you have that happen and you like your client, you may want to preface it that, hey, you're getting ready to go off the market. Just know that this is a strategy that some agents will call you and try to relist your home. So I would suggest maybe not answering the phone unless you know, and then filter through your messages. But that is a very good way to get listings. And what, you know, we always talk about the fortune is in the follow-up. So with that, you know, if you're going to call expireds and withdrawals, then you need to keep following up, and persistency is what's going to win those for you, no doubt. Some things I've tried in the past, which I like, and they weren't successful because I had no follow-up, would be create a listing packet specifically for those withdrawals and expireds, explaining why I can do better, show them my product, and meet them face-to-face. So I've gone and door knocked there, and I've called, but I'm not really great on that do not call list, so I don't know how to do that, and it's really not my preferred way of receiving information. So, but going there in person, dressed nice, you know, and hitting FSBOs, maybe 5 a day, and saying, I can help you, can I look at your house, you know, and just a little drop by like that for FSBOs or for the withdrawals. I think that's a really good way to get in front of them and show them what you can do. So there's one way, and that is just a portion of, you know, just a taste of all the things that come underneath there of ways that you can go after the FSBOs and the withdrawals. Another way, if you've ever seen, you could, I'm sorry, Philip, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, can you share just briefly maybe a couple of the top points for FSBOs and expireds that you will share? If we tell them I can do better and get in front of them, then what do we tell them? How do we tell them that we're going to do better? How do you win those?
Well, we have great marketing tools with our KW intranet and all the ways that we market. So if you look at a listing presentation, you can through KW, you can manipulate that, put as many pages or as little pages in as you want, put your photo on there and all of your branding. But the pages that I would take out is why it's important to price competitively, the type of marketing that we do, the syndication that KW gives you, and Andrea has some really great stats on how our team does, and let our entire market center back you and use those numbers. And I mean, if that can't wow them there, you know, just you presenting in person. But those are some top 4 pages that I would really look at. And if you need help developing that, just shoot me a text or an email and I will kind of point you in the right direction. Diane, you're muted.
I had asked someone else for our market center stats and they didn't appear to be available, and I wanted to include something like that in my listing presentation. Where do I mean, I can do a search and see, you know, how many properties sold and then add which brokerage and like figure it all out in a very long process. But I was hoping that our market center had some kind of stats. How do we stack up against Coldwell Banker, Remax, whatever? Is that what you're saying is available somewhere?
It has been in the past, but let me see. I think it's when Andrea does transmittal is when she gets all those numbers and can do that on a monthly basis for us. So let me look to that, Diane, because I don't have it at my fingertips, but I will make a note of that, okay?
I guess I was interested in like the comparison stats,
okay,
as opposed to, you know, what did we sell or list, but like, how do we stack up? Like, we're number 1 in our market because blah, 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 blah. That's what I was hoping to find somewhere.
Okay. So that's what Carrie kind of talks about sometimes, about how great we're doing, right? But she won't really undercut the other people. She won't talk about the other people. She'll just talk about how good we're doing.
Right.
So that is what I have done before, is just make my own charts. You know how to do that? Go ahead.
One of the slides that got shared in the team meeting yesterday, or this week, in fact, Tuesday, was us against ABOR. So it takes our market center and measures us against everybody else and shows where we're the top on each of those things. So we just need to get with Carrie and see if those things can be shared on the internet or those slides can be made available. I know she's posted them on our Facebook Market Center page before, so we can get those monthly numbers so that they're readily available for everybody, because there's 4 or 5 slides that we can get out to you that show all of that cumulative data month by month.
Yeah, and if you want to go against certain brokerages, like if you have a brokerage that seems to run your neighborhood and you want to show, you know, how we are in comparison, you can do that through the MLS. We could do that next week, just kind of have an MLS class and look at how to see who's selling what. And okay. All right, I see a couple head nods, so maybe we'll do that next week. MLS class on who sells what. Okay. Yeah, so there are a lot of
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Tom, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, can you guys tell me exactly what ratios you'd be looking for in your argument? When you're comparing yourselves to other brokers, do you want to see, our days on market versus theirs, our listed sold price versus theirs? I mean, what argument would you like to make? And I'll see if I can start tracking that down.
Awesome, Tom. Diane, what do you think would work? To me, it would be closed volume and maybe listing.
I really just want to make it simple. Philip, you mentioned the ABOR, I saw that, but that I don't really feel like would resonate with, somebody that I'm sitting across the kitchen table with. I'm just looking for our market center sold 1,500 properties in the last year. The nearest competitor, we don't even have to name who it is, only sold, 900 properties, like something really simple and easy.
Okay.
I think any stats where we're KW or our market center in particular are outpacing other people, I think is a good stat. So
right.
Whether it's we have, fewer days on market, or I don't know about sales price either, if things are selling in our market center for above list price, or higher than the average home price in the area. Any of those stats I think would be helpful in a listing presentation.
And of course you can, I'm sorry.
Tom, that seems okay to you? What you can
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to tie it back to, the reason that houses don't sell is because the previous marketing was ineffective, and we have a marketing machine that's better than anything else. And I know my marketing machine works, and all I want to do is get 10 minutes to show it to you. That's really kind of the argument you're making to get in the door, right?
Well, that's true. That is one piece of it. And we can really go KW wide at that point, because you know what? People don't understand the difference between market centers. And
yeah.
So we are an international company, with innovative marketing techniques. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was going to change topic a little bit. I don't know stop me, Emily, if I'm jumping ahead. So for somebody like you who's been working as a realtor for a while, and you have a bulk of properties that you've sold and helped purchase, like you have a portfolio to present.
Right.
So for those of us who are just starting out, and I don't have a portfolio to present of, here's these last 5 properties that I've sold that have, gotten list price or above or whatever, what would you recommend, in place of that, or how do I address a client's concerns about the fact that I haven't sold a lot of properties yet?
Yeah, so this is something everyone faces when they first get started. Everybody faces it. And the thing is that you don't have another job. You're given 100% of your marketing efforts and ability towards this, yet you have a huge team backing. So this is what we have done, and I'm an extension of that for you. So this is what we have done. These are our last big 5 sales, our last 5 sales in your price point. And you pick and choose, right? The stats is only as accurate as the person giving them. You can manipulate those stats in any way. Like, if we just happen to sell 5 pieces of land in Lago Vista and they were $3,000 each, we're probably not going to put that in front of a seller. We want the nicer homes because that's apples to apples. So, figure that out a little bit. And we can look through the MLS at who has sold what, so you can see what our market center actually has sold. So you're given truth data there. So definitely I would say the word we, because you're coming with a full force behind you. And you really are. You've got Donna, you've got the ALC behind you, your broker. I mean, any questions that you have, it's not just you on your own. So, yeah.
Thank you. That's helpful.
I would add that if you're looking at days on market, be careful in Leander if you focus there at all, which I do, because there's so many new builds. And if you look at it as an aggregate, you're going to see properties with, 200 days on market, but that's because it was bare dirt when it got listed. So just caveat to watch out for that.
Great point there. Yeah.
Hey, Emily, this is Iman. I just wanted to add, since I may be the newest here, but something that occurred to me, because I don't have any, I just started, I don't have any portfolio or whatever, but some of the talking points that I was thinking about, well, you may not have the experience, but you have the enthusiasm. And because you are trying to build your business, you're going to go like the extra mile for whomever. And, that enthusiasm and passion and just going the extra mile to prove yourself may be more beneficial in certain instances where, a busy broker could, would not dedicate the sufficient time or whatever. That's just one thing. And then the other talking point that I was listening to some Ignite classes online through KW, and one of the moderator was talking, well, especially for people who are in the coaching program, to actually not say that they have a coach, but that they have a partner, use the partner instead of mentor or coach, because it just presents better. And truly it is a partnership. So that's always kind of helpful when you're going for your first listing. These are just like the theory that I know, I still have yet to to implement it, but those are just like some thoughts.
That's great. Yes. So partner and we're bringing a team with you. Role play that maybe with your significant other, or, if you want to get in touch with an ALC, and just role play that a little bit. And it's just going to start flowing after you do it a couple of times. And it's really the truth. And it's just a more graceful way of saying it. That's exactly what you're bringing them. And I'll let you know, please don't feel like every seller out there wants a mega agent. They don't. Some people want to. Maybe some people have sold enough homes on their own and they kind of figure that they got it right, but they know the value of a professional, someone watching the industry, and all the forms. And so they want someone to come along. I mean, the first guy who I ever did a land for was just a really nice guy who just wanted to see me succeed, besides our own that we purchased. So, yeah, start that way, and we can role play that. I think that will help get some fears out. And again, one of my favorite things is going away from where I live to practice. So I do all my mess ups in another location. So then when I get back in my little community, I've got it down pat. So go mess up in somebody.
Yeah, if anybody's looking for a role play partner, I'd be interested. You want to shoot me an email?
Awesome, Tom. Cool. So, okay. So we can also use the MLS to see who's gone off the market around the time of COVID. Maybe they got nervous, and then reach back out to them and just say, man, things are going crazy. Now, what would it be ideal is if their agent kept in touch with them, because the fortune's in the follow-up. So the person who had put it on, you think would be following up, but don't give agents too much credit. So just roll in there and just make sure you're giving them something of value if you talk to them or email them. And you can literally just go on MLS and just snapshot whatever county that they're in, Williamson County or Travis, and say, hey, this is what we've been doing. Here's the past couple of months. You ready to get back in the game? We don't see it slowing down right now. And so that's a neat way to kind of get in touch with people. But if you're going to take the effort of calling the first time, put it on your calendar to follow up with them. And you don't have to keep bugging them. There's always really great ways to get in front of people without bugging them. And I think that's what Bold has shown us. And today is actually the last day of Bold, but really great ways to connect with people in this environment. It's all about caring about them as a person, and what their endeavors are. Hey, I saw you were on the market back in March, right before our whole world went crazy. Have your plans changed? Can I tell you some of the stats and see if it's time for you to get back on the market right now? And then follow up the next week. Just thinking about you, and, whatever conversation you had, just elaborate on that. And then don't even mention real estate. And then, do a pop by or something. Super easy. Just thinking about you again. Here's our updated stats. I just got these. Thought you might want those. So those are 3 touches right there on somebody who, now your personality starts coming out. They're not afraid of you anymore, thinking you're going to bug them in a bad way. So it's really all about that personal connection, just going up to that door and being like, they're human beings just like we are. They couldn't sell their home, or on the phone or via email. In those situations, email is not the best way to reach these people. It's actually being in front of them, if you can do that first, and then following up with a phone call. Now, a lot of these people, if you don't have their phone number, Trish, can you type in or say out loud what that website is that Becca used sometimes to find phone numbers? Oh, I remember. It's called That's Them. That's them.com. No, it's not always accurate, but it gives you some phone numbers, and again, I don't know how to cross-reference it on the do not call list. So we have to figure that out before we start calling all these people.
I had to do you can totally use the government website. That just Google it, and it just is very time consuming. In the cold calling that I've done, it's just like 4 steps of finding the phone number.
There's a couple of
they're not on
dialers.
the do not call list, and then calling.
There's a couple of dialers out there. I use one of them it'll tell you which numbers on the list or do not call, and there's an option where you can just skip the do not calls, right?
Oh.
So only dial numbers that are not on do not call, but it's expensive and it only works if you use it, if you make the calls, right? So there you go.
See, for me, when we do masterminding, I am a cheapskate. I am super cheap. I will never pay for something like that. I'm not going to say never. I won't pay for something like that typically. And I have to get this in my mind that my time is worth money, but I will spend hours and hours in paper. I don't do a lot of paper products, but I'll rather do paper product, hand deliver, make a fool out of myself sometime before I'll pay for something, it's just the way I work. I don't know why, but, and I just feel like if you're a new agent, please don't bite off on a lot of these lead generating and, all these things that you can buy into, because I think there's some way around some of this stuff, and maybe ask before,
And I just don't have the money to do it. So.
Right. That's that red light, green light that Gary Keller talks about. Once you make a sale, now you got some green, what can you do with that? Give yourself the green light to do a little something, but not a lot. I mean, there was an agent, that I really adore. I love her so much. And she was selling her home and I was like, this is so amazing. I can't wait for you to be able to go and do what you want to do. And she goes, I can't. Every time I get a, paycheck, I'll spend it on something. And so please, let's be more strong than that, so we can actually do stuff. We got a lot of things coming down the pipe next year. Investment opportunities. There's no place better to learn investment opportunities than as a real estate agent, and we need that second layer of income coming in for all of us. It's just waiting for us. So we're going to start teaching good ways for you guys to become investors and learn what deals are out there. So yeah, if you feel like you need to pay for something outside of the KW assets that they give you, ask first and just make sure. Like that, who came a couple of weeks ago and talked about their magazine? It was called Life. Do you remember American Lifestyle magazine? I tried that. I really, really loved it, but it wasn't giving me the returns. I think I could use it and get the returns that he was talking about, but that was very expensive. So we've got people who've tried just about everything in this office. So if you're thinking about it, let's talk. Okay, so we talked about FSBOs withdrawn, some things you can take there. We talked about looking at the MLS to see who was on the market and then came off. Another thing that I can do, just because I've been in the industry enough, is go back through my notes and who have I talked to at the beginning of the year or maybe at the end of last year and have another conversation with them. Just see if they're ready now. One thing my coach, Bob Guest, is telling me is start gearing up people now for the springtime, and it still will be probably during the COVID scenario that the spring will be a time that people typically list. And, it's hard to break old habits. So I am going to start getting people ready for the next year and getting them solidified right now. In fact, John Sporline on this call has someone asking them to go ahead and write up the listing presentation, even though they're not, or the listing agreement, even though they're not going to be ready for 2 or 3 months. So super proud of that guy. All right. So here's another way to reach people. So typically in the past, people move from their houses within 5 to 7 years. We're a instant gratification society and our jobs take us and move us often. So if someone's been in a home from 5 to 7 years, they have a higher chance of moving. So you can find that data through the MLS. It's meticulous, but I've done that. I don't want to pay for a service, but also many title companies can help you find that information. And just sending out market stats to those people via mail. That's my favorite way of doing things because I'm not in your face all the time. But sending out stats and then following up with something, maybe doing a pop by with some stats. My favorite way to do pop bys is to drop it and not even ring the doorbell and then text them later that I've been there, if they're my true pop bys for my A's or my best clients. But if you're just trying to get in front of, you know, somebody that you don't know, mailing, I like doing it that way in a colorful, pretty printout, you know, with something that triggers their memory of something of where they're located. You know, you don't want to shoot a really great picture of Lake Travis if you're selling over in Pflugerville or Round Rock, you know, that doesn't have the lake. So yeah, maybe an icon that they're familiar with. Lots
Emily,
of great. Yes, Chris?
how often are you on your farm on those ones that you're trying to reach 5 to 7 years out? How often are you hitting them each month or bi-monthly? How are you doing that?
Well, Chris, I will say to do as I do and not as I do as I say and not as I do. I am not good at this, but I have learned through Bold this time that the fortunes in the follow-up, and I think it's just not a weekly touch, but you know, every month just being back in front of them, and they probably aren't ready at 5 to 7 years, but at the 8-year mark, you know, and you've been touching them. Yeah. And so just like farming, you know, I'm not going to come out to Cedar Park and do FSBOs and withdrawals. I'm going to stay in my local Lago Vista and do all my stuff right in there because that's what's going to give me the biggest impact. So I think any routine touch would work. Don't you, Chris?
Yeah, and the reason I ask that is because I just started doing more of a farm close to my neighborhood, and I'm using Command. I'm using the postcards, and I'm doing that monthly. I'm doing a little bit different than I have in the past, but I was just curious as how often are you hitting them, and I guess for the how long are you know, study shows that you should be doing at least a year before you see a return.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment, Chris. I think if you're going to farm and farm the right way, and that's why I think my American lifestyle hadn't been successful. It's because I hadn't farmed the right way. So it's a commitment when you bring something on like this, a new marketing idea. But I would mix up not just postcards, right?
So you're doing like pop buys too? Is that what you were saying that you do?
Yeah, and it's maybe it's just a pop by of like just some stats on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be like a whisk Merry Christmas thing or
Sure.
cute, you know?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or inviting them to a neighborhood event. That's what I love to do. I used to put together all the events happening that month and take it out every month, you know?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's not just all about real estate.
Sure.
We've got about 6 minutes left. I think this was a 40-minute Zoom. I'm sorry, but I think this is good. We keep it tight.
I have a quick question. It's just a quick question. What is pop by? What does that mean?
This means where you, whatever group you're working on, in the Buffini method, he is a coach. It would be your A's and maybe B's that you go by their house, just give them a little something to try to stay top of mind. So if you look up Buffini pop by, that will show you exactly what this is. Buffini.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. And again, these title companies already have like a whole year's worth planned. They already have the pop by tags that they will send you that you just print off, or they'll print them for you. Like, don't reinvent the wheel on this. And the cheesier it sounds, I'm learning that's what the people like, you know, like for real, a whisk. I whisk you a Merry Christmas. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, I would hate that. But no, it's cute, you know, when your personality comes out. Just thinking about you and hope you make up some good, you know, froth this thanks or Christmas, whatever, you know. So so before we go, we got about 5 minutes left. We talked about maybe next week doing an MLS class just together. I'll share my screen and kind of show you some things that I've learned that are fun little secrets, I think, of the MLS. But then is this advantageous to you? Do you think we need to have more of a structure, or do we like the Q&A with just one topic?
I thought this was great. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Some Tom. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that there's there was a topic, but then we got to ask questions related.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So again, I've got that email if you wanted to get on that FSBO. Also, you know, if you just have dead time, like I have a lot of dead time when I drive in the car. I like it quiet because my house is crazy, but I've been trying to do some podcasts, and there's some really great real estate podcasts out there. So anyway, lots of things to just kind of feed your mind, different ways to get out in front of people. And remember, it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. So we've all sat here and heard some things. Who's going to go out and actually do one of these things? You know, be successful and make a plan to go out and do one thing, and just make sure that if you farm, be prepared to do it the right way, you know, and it doesn't have to be tons of money right up front. But, you know, if we don't do it routinely, then we don't get it right. Diane, I see you raising your hand.
I just want to agree with you. I am in a neighborhood where I get random postcards, you know, one time, maybe twice. And to me, you know, don't send it at all. If you're only going to send it once, don't bother, because you're throwing it away. People need to see it multiple times, maybe 10 times before they even remember your name. So
that's right.
That's my advice.
Yeah, that's right.
Millionaire real estate agent, the marketing plan there for farming is a 35 touch, where you actually touch that contact in one way or another 35 times over the course of every 12 months. So Emily, I'll send that information. I've got a printout on that I can send you if you want to share for farming. That gives you, it gives you multiple avenues and multiple channels every month, and you just rotate your database through all of those things and where the neighborhood you're farming. And that way it's always a different touch every month, but it's always something that reinforces who you are and that you're there. And that's exactly right. It's not just a one-off where they throw it away. It's every month.
I get disconnected soon.
So you could do that for a farming, or you could do that for your A's, or you could do that for the 5 to 7 year people.
Right. It works for all of it.
Yeah. Okay. That would be awesome. You know what? I'm just going to try to screenshot who's on here, and I'll just send it out. And if you don't want it, if you want to just throw it away, how about that? Because I see a bunch of people coming in chat, and I'm trying to run it all on my own, and it's a little bit difficult.
I'm interested in what Philip just mentioned. If you can share that with us, that would be great.
That's what I'll send, Emily. I'll send the link because I taught a class on that last October, and I've got the audio and the slides from that. So I'll send you the link so that actually people can listen to it just like a podcast. And just the class I taught on the lead generation marketing piece. So I'll get that over to you.
That's awesome.
I wanted to add on, this is Sherry, I wanted to add on your podcast that you mentioned earlier. You know, one of the things that I'm learning, especially since I'm doing a lot of commuting back and forth in the new community that I'm in, and then still keeping my existing business, is there's so much to learn out there and so much to know. So I use my time wisely when I'm driving around in the car, and I am listening to training videos, and I'm just kind of getting more knowledge and more information that way, so I'm not wasting any time. We spend so much time in our cars, you know, as realtors, so it's just such a way to really get that training that we really need to do, but we don't find time to do it. So I really like that idea.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome, you guys. Well, you know how to get in touch with me. I'm going to kind of put this together and email all you guys, and see you next Thursday at 10, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks
a lot.
Together.
Thank you, Emily.
Guys, yes.
Thank you.